Hi and good evening, everyone. My name is Albert. This is VlogsBoutNothin. It's nice to see all of your faces. Wouldn't that be crazy if you could? Like, I mean, maybe in 5 years' time or something, we can all get together in a VR chat room and, be sort of like this John Oliver setup where, like, anytime I stream, I can just sit here with the headset and people can sit in the audience. I guess, like, as in like in the internet world. I think that'd be really cool. Am I the only person that's my age that's never played Second Life? Is this the standard of success? Because I don't even have a computer. I need to get one so that I can get an account and play Second Life though. I think that'd be I've always wanted to play it. I should have done a lot of things that I wanted to do because maybe I wouldn't be where I'm at now. But that's okay. We're gonna get out of this bucket here together real soon. Or not. But I'm really hoping that it'll be the first. Anyways, let's talk tonight about a really good video made by Johnny Harris. And this guy's obviously a brilliant young dude. He makes some really good investigative journalism videos. And I honestly have nothing to criticize in terms of just like I want more, in terms of just the content and like the length of the videos. Link in the description below. Definitely drop this guy a sub. Obviously, he doesn't need our help. He's got millions of them. But regardless, I'm still trying to, always be cordial, amicable, and professional as it concerns my colleagues. As I'm just a YouTuber. I've been doing it a while. Can I call myself that? Even though I do currently have another occupation that is taking up some of my time. And anyways, so I want to talk about Georgia because that's what this video talks about. Link in the description below. And it's interesting because not a lot of us here on the Western front, in the Western world, hear about news that comes from parts of the world that our government isn't really interested in letting us know about because if we knew about it, we maybe would make a big deal of things. And by this, I mean speaking out in protest. And by this, I mean what's currently happening with our young people and their protest attempts being met with forceful law enforcement in all areas of the country because of the dissent that is currently ongoing in the regard of freeing Palestine, and while understanding completely that the stance on pro-Palestinian sovereignty does not conflict and or mean that there is any bigotry as it concerns the Jewish people. Moreover, it's the Israeli government that the United States young people are protesting and are being met with some backlash. So we're taught about these things through the news in a very kind of directed way so that we can interpret it in a certain kind of way. That's called propaganda. The news is entertainment. It never claims to be 100% factual. There's disclaimers at the beginning and ending of all news broadcasts that are pretty eye opening if you ever paused and read them. So, in terms of just their liability as it concerns the things that come from their mouths and so forth, and reporting news is in fact a category of entertainment. And so it can be sold, lies can be told. This is a known fact in the industry. So, anyways, I think that the Georgian occupation that is currently taking place in Georgia with Russia deciding to set up some fences and set up a puppet president person man for their parliament or whatever who is not following the will of the people, and the will of the people overwhelmingly is more of a Western kind of perspective on life and more of a European Union wanting to be a part of that as opposed to wanting to be a part of Russian doctrine or Russian ideology. Here's the thing, and I think moving forward, conquering nations isn't really in anyone's best interest. The world is modern. It's incredibly complicated to continue to seek out reasons to occupy sovereign nations, and for whatever reason, for in terms of historical claims under old governments that have failed. I think, moreover, there should be diplomatic talks in terms of the collaboration of the European Union and Russia and China and America. There's really, I don't understand why we all can't just get along. And I don't understand from any sort of financial perspective why we can't also understand that by not focusing so much GDP from any of our respected sovereign countries to wartime efforts, all of our countries would be a lot better. I think I've never heard that argument before. But wouldn't they? Wouldn't the United States be one crazy country if we didn't spend so much money on helping other governments achieve things that they may or may not ever achieve on their own? And it really is up to us to collaborate with other nations, but occupying them is at best very 20th century. And so far as I know, we're in the 21st century. We're one whole century ahead of the 20th century. So, that being said, it really just does become more problematic as we move forward into this century, kind of still experiencing the ramifications of archaic philosophy and how governance perpetuates hate quite often in all cases and scenarios, and has never ever, so far as historical recorded history has been told to us, there have been a handout to shake to some of these countries that we beef with instead of like trying to occupy their countries. So I'm for Georgia. Like, I'm obviously gonna always be where, not always, mostly always, where the majority of people are in terms of where they stand on that particular issue and whether or not where that source comes from and if it's authentic. And I don't know if you've seen, just YouTube search Georgia protest, and you'll see that there are hundreds of thousands of people peacefully protesting things that are happening in their great country in some of the big cities there. And it's tough. It's tough to see people my own age and younger suffer because of their government. Not to say that it's any better when I see Xers or boomers or the quiet generation suffering, but moreover, I'm just trying to look out for people that are younger than me. You feel me? Like, that's all. Make the world a better place, be responsible for my own actions, be accountable, be transparent. That's all that I'm trying to do. You feel me? And I feel like that would be a whole lot easier if governments would spend less time, resources, and money occupying places that don't belong to them, and instead of focusing more inward on the things that they can control and the things that they can do to better improve their own country. And that because we ultimately all want to work together. And so far as I know, I don't know why Russia's all into trying to occupy countries when they have the largest landmass on Earth. And wouldn't it be a crazy scenario if Russia just kicked back a little bit and developed their own country? I mean, can you imagine what kind of sick, crazy, megalithic thing that would be? That would be great, and that would do the world a really great service in that you provide great people with a solid, stable government, and then you open your border, you open the gates and you welcome people so that they can play the game of Monopoly in real life, make that money, be given that money, spend that money, move that money, give people a false sense of security, at least, in that we all live in economies that are of fiat currency. So like fiat currency is how we currently exchange goods and services, and that is all backed by the full faith and loyalty of the United States government. So again, being a global superpower actually allows us to do some really good things in the world, and I think like we should do them, and I think that we should be more proactive about accepting other nations' negotiations and listening to what they want in exchange for peace, instead of trying to take over Ukraine, take over Georgia, make Palestine not there anymore. I just these don't aren't all of these things like don't they all sound very crazy? Because they are. And I that's not what the people want. And I really feel like we should listen to what people want. Like otherwise there's not a point. There's just no point. I mean, we can play the corrupt card all day if you want, but that gets us absolutely nowhere and it puts us further behind the curve than we could ever possibly imagine. In a world where arguably in a couple decades there'll be automobiles in the air. And we're not too far away from that kind of a future, but we really got to get it together. And we really got to watch videos like this guy in the link in the description below talking about the occupation of Georgia and the unlawful occupation of Georgia by Russia and its impact on Georgia, a country where millions of people live. So I hope that you guys have a really good night and we'll talk to y'all soon. Bye.